Hey guys, this is AZ Wallbreaker here, and you're watching my channel, Wallbreakers, here to inspire you to be epic, be legendary. Alright, I just want to say that before we start, please hit subscribe, like, also share my videos before I get into what I'm going to discuss today. Today I'm going to give you updates. I know I've been away for 2 weeks, but there's a good reason for that. The reason I took a break from doing a video was because I wanted to get new lighting. As you can see my shiny face, and I'm very glad that I did it, especially with the fact that the fall season is here during the time of this recording, so I only have a few hours of lighting to work with. Also, it allowed me to spend more time with my family, especially with dinners, because when I came home from work, I always had to rush and get filming done because I didn't have these lights that I have right now, and I just had to use the daylight. I decided to buck down and get some lamps with some daytime LED lights, and I can see the difference is great. You can see more of my face, and I feel very good. So, you're welcome. Oh, you can see me when I didn't have it. Hi. You can't see me, but I look like a ninja. As you can see, I need a lot of light. So much light that I am pretty much a black hole. So, I'm very dark, as you can see, and I need a lot of light. So, that is the reason that I did not post a video last week, because I want more lights. I want better lights so I can give you better quality videos as I could or can. My book is going phenomenal. I finished chapter 8 and 9 the last 2 weeks. Now that I'm working on my chapter 10, it's going a little bit slow at the moment. It's going slow because I took a few days off to do other things. I had work to do this weekend. I had to go with my family to do stuff. I had a lot of stuff to do that week, so I really took a break to not concentrate on writing, and I decided to focus on other things such as better lighting for you, and that's what I did. So I am very glad that I got back into writing, and I continue to write. I'm probably going to try to write tonight during this time of recording, and I hope to keep on going, keep on pushing with my book. When I was writing, I noticed that I started to edit my book as I kind of scrolled down to the page that I was on, and one thing I noticed was that I was correcting some passive writing that I was putting in that I'm so used to writing. It's amazing that when you write that it's crazy that you have so much of passive writing that it really bogs down your story when you can keep it simple by saying a certain words or cutting a word out. And I got examples of passive writing that I want to share with you to show you an example or examples of passive writing versus active writing. Alright, so my first example is I am done versus I finished. You see the difference between the two? I noticed that when I said I am finished in my writing, it was short, to the point, and I felt like it kept the reader, at least me, for the most part, engaged. But when I said I am done, and I caught this in my writing, I noticed that it was long, it was brief, and it really took the reader away, or I felt like it would have taken the reader away from my book. I don't want to bog down the reader to the point where it's just too boring because it's so wordy. I think as writers that we need to be careful how we write and pay attention to it. That's where a lot of editing comes in. We tend to want to be wordy because we want to have a big book, and sometimes we forget that it is important just to be brief and to the point and keep your readers engaged. I notice that I'm finding that as I'm writing, as I'm trying to make my book as big as Game of Thrones, as an 800-page book, I have to remind myself that sometimes you don't need to write that long of a book. You just need to keep your readers engaged. Keep your readers engaged. Here are more examples. Here are some more examples. I had passed the test. You could say, I passed the test. See how short and brief it is? It's amazing how much better your writing is when you try to make it more active and keep it engaged. Here's one more example. I was standing versus I stood. See the difference? It's more, again, it's shorter, it's to the point, and it keeps the reader active. Also, we have to keep in mind that we don't want to be too wordy about it and have it bogged down. So I am going to look back and try to eliminate as much of the passive tense or passive writing in my book and make it more active, because I want to keep my audience engaged as we're reading. So that's what I want to do. Some of you might be asking, as a writer or a new writing such as myself, when do I use passive writing? There are some times when you might have to use passive writing. It just depends on what you're doing and how you're describing stuff. For example, if you want to make your characters, or you have an unimportant character, you would use the passive writing because they don't play a major role. Also, if something's irrelevant, like there's just no use to putting it in there and making it active and giving it life. I mean, you might have to make it passive just to say it, just to get it over with and move on from that, because it's never going to play another role in the rest of the story. Also, you might want to be vague about a certain character or a certain action that's about to happen, but you want to keep your readers engaged that way because you don't want to give it away. So this is pretty common in a lot of mysteries where you are trying to figure out as the reader who did what happened, but you don't get the entire puzzle of it. So passive writing is effective there, and it really helps. So depending how you write is going to determine if you're going to use more active or more passive writing. It just depends on where you're going with that. Alright, so I mean, there's a lot of ways to do active and passive writing. You just gotta figure out what you want to do and just go for it from there. If you like this video or any of my videos, please hit like or subscribe. Also, I'm on Instagram under AZ Wallbreaker. So I'll be seeing you later, and remember,